Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the third level of the pyramid, which is sugar handling. So first we had digestion, second we had detoxification and the impact that the liver has on the whole body. Next we're going to talk about sugar and the way that your body regulates sugar. Once again, these are all kind of building on themselves. And in just a few minutes I'm going to try to explain what we mean by sugar cycling or sugar crashing, insulin, and just try some of those points together. So I want you to imagine with me on this scale, this being the level of sugar in the blood or insulin. I'm going to show both. And then this just being time, okay? So if you're just sitting at rest, you have low blood sugar, low insulin, at some point you say, I'm hungry, so we eat something. So let's say we drink a can of Coke on an empty stomach. What will happen is the blood will start to absorb the sugar in the bloodstream, so sugar levels go up, okay? And they go up really high and really quickly. The brain is monitoring that and it says, well, there's high blood sugar, there's too much blood sugar, because at a certain point, let's call this, maybe say a normal range. Once we get above this range, there's actually some bad things that can happen. One of the terms is glycation. Imagine the oatmeal or something sugary like maple syrup that dried on the counter. It's really hard to get off. It's kind of the same idea. When the blood sugar gets too high in the blood, can actually damage red blood cells. And I think of it like I said, oatmeal drying on the counter. It's not easy to clean up. So when the blood sugar gets high, the brain says, oh, we've got to get the blood out of the sugar out of the blood. So it sends a signal to all the cells called insulin. Insulin is low, and it will send the signal out. And what insulin does is it tells all the cells in the body to absorb sugar out of the blood. So, but there's a delay, and that's where the trick is. So blood sugar goes up relatively quickly. Insulin will respond, but it responds with a delay, okay? So what will happen is insulin levels will go up high. Then somewhere around here, the signal to put sugar back in the blood is very loud. So we'll see that the blood sugar starts to come back down. Okay. Problem is that there's such a high signal. Remember, there's a delay. There's such a high signal in the blood for the insulin to put everything into the sugar into the tissue that it overshoots the mark. So we've got this really loud signal. The sugar rushes into the blood cells quickly, and you actually get almost like a crash, a sugar crash, so to speak. And this is where we get hangry from. So you have high insulin in the blood, leads to low blood sugar. The insulin level can't adjust quickly enough. This is hangry. This is where you get jittery, where you get anxious, where you get, these are where the worst decisions for what to eat are made. So when you get in this state, you reach for whatever's available. Candy bar, potato chips, anything. And generally speaking, I found that when I'm here, nothing healthy sounds good, and it's because you're responding to this low blood sugar. So insulin will go back down, and you just ride this over and over again. This and this is the problem. Generally speaking, it'd be better to be in here, okay? Interestingly enough, fasting or when you do a vegetable diet detox, you're really real low blood sugar, and the ketosis would be, just right along the bottom there, and you get a whole different set of physiological results from there. So what do you think about what happens when we talk about the sugar cycling? And pay attention to your eating habits and when you feel hungry. I said before, and I stand by this, I think few people know what real, at least in my sphere, really know what true hunger feels like. Everybody knows what hangry is. That's not true hunger. You've got plenty of fat stores, you've got plenty of sugar stores in the liver that they can't access because the signals are so out of whack. I'm going to share one other concept with you, and it is called insulin insensitivity. So if the cells are listening to these insulin signals and telling them when to absorb sugar and when to make fat, what happens is the cells become deaf. Much like if you have noise in the background, eventually you don't hear it anymore. Or if you I know with my girls, I've noticed before they say dad, they've been saying dad for, I don't know how long, but eventually I snap out of it and say, oh, sure, what's going on? So that's called insulin insensitivity. It's when the insulin level the command has been so high that the cells literally start to desensitize themselves for that signal. This leads to the pancreas overworking, because the next time through that cycle, the pancreas has to pump out even more insulin to get the right result. And the cells say, oh gosh, there's so much insulin, I'm just going to kind of ignore that a little more. And then the next cycle around, the pancreas has to pump out more insulin. It's where we get to insulin sensitivity. As I was reading up on PCOS, insulin insensitivity is It came up a lot. But this is why. It's because we're doing this cycling through the blood sugar. The best ways to increase sensitivity to insulin, number one, diet, but also very high intensity exercise. So we're talking high interval training. So maximal efforts, short period of time. We're talking, I love these because they're only a few minutes long. You say 20 minutes from warm up to the workout to the cool down. Sometimes if I sense that the sugar handling's out of whack, if I do a bike ride, I might do a really short but really intense bike ride just to help, just to kind of, I don't know. It's just well known that high intensity exercise increases insulin sensitivity. So if you want to do the other side of the coin from diet, there's your exercise connection. Aerobic exercise, like on the stepper for an hour or going for long walks, doesn't have that big of an impact. It may over the long term, but for generally what I aim for, it's the most impact, shortest amount of time, least inconvenience, etc. So that's the third step. Digestion, detox, sugar handling. I hope that helps. There are everything below the sugar handling element, the digestion and the liver play into that. Next time we'll take a look at the top level. Thanks.